Solite discipuli and solite omnes. Welcome again to another episode of Latin in Layman's. We're going to be doing something a little bit different because I've been doing more mythologies on my podcast at Latin in Layman's, a Rhetoric Revolution on Spotify. You can go check that out. Comment below what are your favorite Greek and or Roman and or Nordic myths? I entertain all types of myths on my podcast. I'm trying to get more into that as well as the grammar and all that stuff. That being said, let's etymologize, understand the etymology that's embedded because all these names are kind of ideological referring to explaining the unexplainable. That's what mythologies do. They kind of, they make the metaphysical physical, right? So, and I could get on with that, but I'm not going to ramble bam because I know you guys on YouTube are a little bit different folk than the people on TikTok. So I want to make sure and do you guys a service. Narcissus here, the first one is where we get the term narcissist. You guys know what narcissists are in this day and age. We are surrounded by them, right? People that think that their world revolves around them. And in this case, Narcissus displayed a level of hubris, which is why he ended up being punished at the end of the day because he fell in love with his reflection. And, poor little Echo was just here echoing all the last words that he would say. And then he would be like, oh, who's that that's speaking? Oh, it's just me. And then he fell in love with his reflection. And then, hey, you know what? That's hubris. And hubris comes from the Greek hybris, which really refers to insolence and or kind of presumption towards the gods. It's in kind of like the Greek form of the Christian form of vanity, right? Challenging the nature of God. Okay. No, we can't all be Jesuses in this world or anything like that. And although we can try and be, you can. And then you get put in your place because Lucifer tried to do that. Lux meaning light, Pharaoh in the Latin meaning to care and to bear. Lucifer literally meant the light bearer, the light carrier. He challenged the nature of God, and guess what happened? Skibbity bob, you're going down to hell, and now we're going to call you Satan. That being said, Sisyphus would be our next one here. Sisyphus also displayed a level of hubris because he, escaped death twice and or three times. I have yet to go over that myth on my podcast, but it was one of those. It was two or three. And when you do that, you're challenging the nature of being mortal, and you're trying to say that you are immortal. Sisyphus was a king, but he was not a god. So, etymologically, it comes from the Greek Sisyphein, which means to toil. What was the punishment that Sisyphus incurred? Well, he ended up having to roll a boulder up a mountain all the way to the top just for it to roll all the way back down. Now, the dude probably has a really jacked posterior chain and some boulder shoulders and probably some ripped glutes and hamstrings and calves and back, but sounds like a pretty ruthless punishment, not judgment. That being said, I didn't really talk about the judgment and or the punishment that Narcissus incurred when falling in love with himself and starving to death, staring at himself because he is a narcissist. But this is where we get the flower, the Narcissus flower. I don't think the Narcissus flower is very pretty. Maybe you might disagree, but that being said, I'm going to leave it there. I hope you guys learned something new. And again, hubris is basically the Greek mythology version of just vanity and showing and challenging the nature of God. You're not supposed to do that, or else you get punished. Like this bad boy or this bad boy. Tempest says to